Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt. Welcome back to Farlands or Bust. This is episode 735 of the series. I don't know why I said it like that. 35. 735. It's getting worse. It's getting worse every time I say it. So let's stop saying it because it's episode 735 of the series for your Thursday, April 25th. 2019, as we grab Wofi, drop off some garbage, and continue west towards the far lands here in Minecraft Beta 173. West towards the far lands indeed. Like I said, for Thursday, April 25th. This episode is a little private one between you and me. That's right, you and me. Or you and I, depending on how proper you want to get with your English. But yeah, not recording this live on Twitch. Decided to just take a moment to do it the old-fashioned way, and that's what we're doing. Spoiler. So yeah, you know what else is? Well, no, that was never mind. Scratch that. Let's just forget I was going to try a segue there and say, anyway, at farlandsorbust.com, we're raising money for direct relief charity. We're up to $24,405.42. farlandsorbust.com. There's a bunch of links. There's a big banner across the top. There's many places that you can click to donate. And when you donate, you can ask a question that allows me some extra topics and things to talk about on this very, 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 very long journey of ours. That still has a very, very, very long way to go. Indeed, and I do appreciate, obviously, for the most part, the donations for the monetary donations for direct relief charity. They are a worldwide charity. They get and handle and do all sorts of healthcare related disaster relief, for supplies, for underserved communities and countries, for healthcare, vaccines, and pregnancy care. Careful, Wolfie. What's that called? It's called something. But yeah, all those good things. You can learn more at directrelief.org about their mission and what they are currently up to these days. And I appreciate the Farlander support for this charity. And hello to all the new viewers who may have found this series via a video called 10 People Who Played One Game for Years Until It Paid Off. I don't know how I qualified for that list, because I'm not sure it's paid off yet. What's the quantifier of it paying off? But yes, anyway, there's a video by a popular gaming YouTube. That's the only video I watched of theirs, but I guess they do a bunch of top 10 lists or something. They're like the BuzzFeed. So yeah, 10 people who played one game for years until it played off. Now, in addition to knowing whether or not it actually paid off, I mean, I guess it paid off for the charity. We raised over $400,000 for Child's Play charity. We raised over $24,000 now for direct relief charity. So yeah, that paid off. Personally, still squeezing that lemon. We're on that list, and we've gained a lot of viewers. I've seen a subscriber number spike. I've not seen a pink sheep, however, in many, many moons, and that makes me sad. But yeah, also played one game. This is not the only game I played. This is the series, obviously, but it's not the only game that I've played. If anything, I'm playing more games now on Twitch. I don't know if it's going to happen. I don't know if it's going to work out, but we're still counting at least. was trying to see if I could play 365 different games in the year 2019. We're like a month behind or two. I think we're on game number 75 or something like that, and it's well past day number 120 or something like that, so we're a little bit behind. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but it's an interesting goal, and it's certainly given us a lot to explore, and new games that we would have more probably just avoided out of just what's what I'm looking for. Not fear, but just uninterest or whatever. Just instead being like, well, it's a game. Add it to the list, and we've added many games to the list. There's a lot of stuff happening down beneath these grasses, so we're just going to continue on. So yeah, hello everybody. Hello everybody. Farlandsandbust.com is where you can learn all about the series. I have played more than just this game. Sure, it was the first game I published and uploaded to YouTube, but almost immediately I knew I didn't want to be like just a Minecraft channel, so I started showing off a different variety of games that I like playing. Your racing games, your flight simulators, your space games, your Tomb Raider style adventure games. I'm just a renaissance man of the video game realm. Oh boy. But yeah, we are continuing on. We are continuing on. In this game, Minecraft Beta 173, I am glad that they did mention the charity aspect, as well as the fact that we're playing in an old version of Minecraft, Beta 173, which a lot of people are very confused about when they visit the channel or see a video. Well, it don't exist anymore. The Farlands don't exist anymore. Why don't you go to the Nether? Why don't you just teleport or use an elytra? Nope. This is how we're doing it. It's my choice, it's my journey, and I will walk if I want to. Oh, that's fun. So yeah, it's really just become... There is a podcast version, but it's pretty much just become a podcast. Almost like a vlog. If any of you have wondered why I don't publish more vlogs, it's because everything I have to talk about, I already talk about here in Farlands or Bust, or in addition on Twitch streams. Particularly during the first half hour, which is viewer engagement hour. But yeah, that... whoops! That's not how you use a boat. Oh, shoot. Come back. There we go. But yeah. Speaking of vloggy, journal-y, podcasty stuff, life is weird, isn't it? Oh man, yeah, a lot. Not a lot, just a certain thing. Things have been happening. Good things. For your old friend Kurt J. Mack. And again, I don't talk about personal stuff all that often, if at all. And I'm gonna keep that rule, theme, restriction to my content for the most part. But it would. I've never talked about this sort of stuff, so it's kind of weird. But it is it a problem? Here, sidebar, side swipe. St. Louis. Is it a problem to be on antidepressants and then be happy? Like, is there too much serotonin that it's not being reuptaked enough, with in addition to the anti-anxiety, anti-depression medication? Is that a thing that I need to worry about? No, I don't know. But yeah, I mentioned this on stream. I mentioned a lot of this more on stream than I do in Farlands or Bust. But I was trying out. I'm being a young millennial here, even though I am not. I'm in that weird in between millennial and Generation Y scenario, where I graduated high school in the year 2000, so I'm kind of in this weird straddly situation. But yeah, trying out those pesky old dating apps, and boy do they suck. Boy, do they suck. But yeah, I recently did, I guess, meet somebody and have been going out with the same person for a couple weeks here. And again, it's just been a couple weeks. It's just been a couple weeks. But it's good stuff. And I'm certainly, like, I guess that was a thing for the last few years missing. And it's nice to figure it out and to have found somebody who doesn't immediately cringe and ghost away when learning of 36-year-old man who plays video games for a job. that's a positive. That happens a lot. Yeah, that was, what do you do for a living? Well, I guess that's the end of this conversation. That happened far too often. And that's fine. I understand video games might not be everybody's bag. Maybe a little bit of undeserved criticism, outward criticism. People perhaps don't think video games, they're children's toys, they're for little kids. Not the case, and hopefully that sort of, I've talked about this before, that sort of thought process fades with time. But yeah, let's go to sleep and continue in the morning. And awakeness and awkward conversations that I'm not sure how to actually talk about-ness. Right, Wolfie? Do you need... Sure, why not? So yeah, that's a thing that's been going on, and I feel like it's actually... I've not been streaming as frequently, and even before that, the Farlands or Bust episodes have really been only coming out once a week, but I'm now figuring out how to balance something else. Like, first it was how to balance owning a dog and needing to walk Juno every day, and then also wanting to balance like my needs and wants to go hiking and be outdoors, and then balancing having an old car and mufflers falling off. I took the car out for a little drive today just to make sure it still ran. It's not as, I took the muffler completely off now, by the way, and it's not as offensive. It's loud, and I'm not going to leave it like this, but it's not as ugly of a muffled engine as I thought it was. But yeah, it definitely needs to be muffled, or my neighbors will hate me even more. But yeah, it's just another thing I'm trying to figure out how to balance. It's not, and again, it's somebody who cares? I met them on an app, whatever. And nobody has no association with video games or live streaming or Twitch, so there's no, y'all don't know her, and I'm just kind of enjoying that outside of this, so I won't probably talk about it too much, other than as an excuse. I'm using it as an excuse for my even poorer availability and regularity and scheduling of working. So yeah, found somebody who doesn't immediately scoff at playing video games for a living, so I appreciate this floating block of sand, first of all, but I also appreciate y'all sticking around, being patient, because I don't know if she'll also be as appreciative if I am not able to do this for a living. If I'm playing video games but not actually making money at it, that probably wouldn't go over too well in the old attraction department, I think. Just saying. No pressure. It's all, the pressure's on me, don't worry. But yeah, so that's the thing that's going on. That's weird, right? That's weird that I talked about that, isn't it? Super weird. But yeah. Continuing on. Let's answer some questions here from donors. Capybara Cosmonaut asks, what is the most expensive meal you've ever had, and was it worth it? I tend to be a bit of a cheapskate. Probably... when I lived in Phoenix, went to a fancy mountaintop overlooking the city lights New Year's Eve dinner. It was like a 5-course doobly-doo at a resort. I don't remember how much it was, but I'm sure it wasn't cheap. but I think I had the veal, and I've never had veal before, and it was very good. It was very, very good. But also, like 5 courses, like by the end of the day, before midnight, I was like so stuffed and gross feeling that I didn't want to, I just wanted to go to bed. So we did. Like that, like just food coma. Happy New Year! I'm going to die. That was probably 8,000 calories of very high quality meats, cheeses, desserts, and other such accoutrements, topped off with bubbly, bubbly champagne. I remember it being very good, though. Honestly, some of the best meals I remember having are like cheap ones, are just like, wow, it was a really good taco place, or a burger, or, you know, those always end up, or a breakfast. Breakfasts always get me good. Man, there were some good I'm sorry? What? Breakfasts. There were some very good breakfasts in the day, back in the day. So yeah, it would have to be that. Otherwise, like, I've gone out for my birthday, but like other people have paid for it, and I've had like a good steak or whatever that I normally wouldn't get myself because it's like a $35 steak. They're like, you know, my dad or whoever would take me out, and I'd have a good steak, and it would be my birthday steak. But no, I'm kind of cheap. Like recently, like last week, I had pho for the first time. My first pho. That was really good. That was really cheap too. That was a good cheap meal. So yeah, I'm not a fancy person. Like I don't seek out Michelin star rated restaurants, or, you know, all these other sorts of things that I have no idea what they mean. Mostly budgetarily. I have other things I'd rather be spending my money on, but also just dietarily, I suppose. I don't know. But yeah, I think that's probably the most expensive meal. I mean, it had to be over $100 a plate, because you also had to, like, obviously reserve the table for New Year's, and it also included, like, the countdown champagne celebration, and it was at this exclusive resort restaurant on the top of a mountain that was very cool. It overlooked the city lights, and it started snowing. I think that was the first New Year's I spent in Phoenix, and it started snowing, and everybody was like, snow, 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 and we're like, we moved here from Chicago, it's all right. We know what snow looks like, thank you. But yeah, that's probably it. Germ asked, when is Wolfie's birthday, and what is your favorite space image, as in a nebula, planet, etc., and why? Wolfie's birthday. I don't know the date. I know we got Wolfie on episode 33, 34, 32? Yes, 32. All right, let's say 32. So it just passed. We just passed 700 episodes with Wolfie. With Wolfie. I think it was in June, though, because it was right after I introduced the first Child's Play charity fundraiser aspect of Farlands or Bust, and actually started calling the series Farlands or Bust. So it was June something, but I know it was like episode 32, 33. Y'all will have to check on that. There's a Farlands or Bust flashback about that, which are no longer things. Like, I have not made any of those anymore ever. But yeah, I think that's it. What's your favorite space image? The Cassini image of a backlit Saturn with the rings illuminated, all the rings illuminated. That one has been my desktop background for quite a while. That's pretty rad, like just artistically speaking. And then also in one of the outer rings is a bright blue dot that just happens to be the planet Earth that got captured from a couple billion miles away or whatever. That's a pretty rad image. Yeah, I think I might have to go with that one, honestly. Yeah, that's and obviously there's the pale blue dot image. That one is not as visually exciting or artistic as it is just historically and just subject-wise. Very interesting in that regard. And from that Voyager spacecraft, part of a mosaic of all the inner planets taken at the same time beyond the orbit of Saturn. But also, I don't know. There's, I mean, you've seen one nebula. You've seen them all. No, I'd like to... That's rough. That's very rough. I mean, there's also, like, the Hubble deep, what is it called? Deep field image. That is, like, one image of, like, millions and millions of galaxies. Like, not stars, but galaxies in the deep sky. That one's pretty overwhelming to consider. Galaxies at that scale. But probably I'll have to go with the Cassini image. Like, that's one that when you first see it, you're like, holy, that's real? Like, that's real. Like, we can recreate that in Space Engine or whatever, but that's real. So that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing indeed. I mean, then there's also the sunset from Mars, or they've captured eclipses of Deimos and Phobos passing in front of the sun from the surface of Mars, which happen. It's not like a solar eclipse; they're very tiny. It's more of a transit-looking thing, but you know, those are. There's so many. There are so many. I cannot decide. Oh man! Hey, we got another astronomy question that I'll get to after we set up an elevated hidey hole and sleep for the night here. Of course, for new viewers, I sleep every night because I don't want to walk through the darkness and have to deal with things that try to murder me. But also it resets a spawn point by sleeping. And that's why I also I make new and leave the beds. Because if I were to die, I've never died in this world, in this game world. But if I were to die, instead of going all the way back, 3+ million blocks back to spawn, I would just go back to the most previous bed and spawn there. And at most lose all my items and just a day's worth of travel. And perhaps Wolfie. Ah, speaking of bad guys. Skeletna. I seen him. Get shot. You will not enjoy your beach time vacation. Get murdered. Get sniped. Get murdered again. Woo. Well, that was a waste of arrows. Could have very easily just walked around this guy, but whatever. Yoink. And he just dropped bones. Salaprance asked, back when you were in astronomy club... Man, that's something I gotta do more of. Like, it's difficult, but here in... Well, the summer gets better, gets clearer at night. Careful, Wolfie! The heck, what happened to you? Oh, there you are. Yeah, I have this telescope that I've not used in multiple years. Back when you were in the astronomy club, did you have a particular celestial object that you liked to observe the most? Whoops. With your own 3D glassed eyes? I tell you what, it's pretty hard to look through a telescope with 3D glasses on, so I don't recommend it. And what makes you favor those celestial objects over others? I particularly like looking at binary star systems. Yeah, everybody seems to have their favorite. There were some guys in the club who looked at binaries and would measure them, like the arc seconds apart that they are, which, you know, that's, if they want to do that, that's cool. Like, that's a way to figure out things, I guess. I don't know what specifically it was, but being able to, like, resolve really tightly clustered binary star systems is really more of a test of your optical resolution of your telescope and eyepiece and stuff. The planets are obviously the most overwhelming. They're kind of the ones that when I figured out how to observe them, like when I first saw Jupiter and particularly the moons of Jupiter, I'm like, what are those stars? Those aren't stars. Those are the moons of another planet. And that like totally made me lose my mind. And then like the rings of Saturn, always a crowd pleaser and a showstopper. But one of the first deep objects that I had to really hunt for and find on my own with the old Dobsonian I used to have was the Ring Nebula M25, I believe. Ye old Ring Nebula, which is small but kind of bright. It's a white dwarf star. What pretty much is going to happen to our sun? And the ring part of it is the colorful shedding of its gases and particles of the system it once was. And that one, when I first found that, I'm like, hey, I found it, because it's pretty difficult to find things that you can't see unless you're looking through the telescope. Similarly, the Dumbbell Nebula M52, M35, something, a similar situation, but much more faint and larger. I think that one's up in or near, where is that one? That's near the Duck, right? The Swan, Cygnus? Or am I thinking of the Ring Nebula? One of them is in Cygnus. Or around. Man, that's something I've gotten a lot of practice with as well. Is memorizing the constellations and like where to find particular things. That's something I'll have to start from scratch learning if I ever get back into that, hopefully. It's also, I guess a problem with being so far north in Seattle also is that you're really restricted to the northern hemisphere. In the summer in Illinois and certainly in Arizona, you start to see more of the southern sky. Whereas up here, I do notice when I do see a clear sky, I'm like, dang, the North Star is like really up there. Like it's not low on the horizon like it is most other places. So you're really kind of trapped in the kinds of objects you can observe. Which maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a good thing. There really aren't that many unique or interesting things around the North Star in the sky. Other than, like, you know, binary. The North Star is a binary system. Haha! Thought it was a single star, did you? No. Actually, I think it's a three-star system, I think. But, oh, Lord. That looks like a diving board over there. Good way to take some damage for myself and Wolfie. Whee! Oh, yeah! Wolfie jumped in. Well done. Or just spawned when I hit the bottom. So, yeah. I don't know. Those things probably. I'm like, I obviously realized I didn't just pick one, but I wish I had the money. I mean, I do, but I wish I had the ability to spend my money on a solar telescope, like a H-alpha telescope, like a good one, because I think I would really enjoy observing the sun. I get a kick out of watching the NASA satellites that are observing the sun, the stereo satellites and the SOHO satellite, that look at the sun in different wavelengths, and you can see the prominences and the textures of the surface of the sun. And that sort of stuff you can get with a H-alpha solar telescope, but those are not cheap. Those are starting at a few thousand buccarinos for the cheapest kind. Well, the cheapest kind is like maybe $800, $900, which is more than I've ever spent on a regular telescope. And it's kind of a tough pill to swallow because it's like you can't observe anything else in this because this is literally just for the sun. But yeah, that would be something cool to observe. But maybe when they start growing on trees, which would be weird, I think we'd have a little bit more interesting science to figure out if that were to happen. Speaking of science, Uncle Scientist asks, every so often you sort of sing, "It's been." What's the reference? It's a kind of a hard phrase to Google. It's been. Have you not heard? Have you not heard the word of what the heck are they called? I forgot their names already. The band. What is it, Wolfie? This is what I need to be streaming on Twitch for, is to ask these questions. Bare naked ladies. The naked ladies who are bare. Bears. Bear ladies who are naked. Yeah, it's been. That's. I kind of got it from Justin on Twitch. I was there. I was watching the stream when they figured out how funny it was just to say "yeah, it's been" and like not the rest of the song. And then he started using it as an alert, and it's just fun to say. So now whenever you say "it's been," yeah, it's been. It's yeah, sure. Just search "bare naked ladies." It's been, and maybe in an incognito window just in case, but. That'll get you what you need, and that's what that is in reference to. Very obscure reference, and it saddens me when people don't get my Simpsons references. Sorry, this again. I don't like talking about this, but I can say this much. Woof! I knew that I would get along with the person I'm dating right now because she sent Simpsons memes and GIFs. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but we have to continue talking to each other because you get the Simpsons. Not only do you get, but you have like a folder of Simpsons memes ready to go. And that's just a sign of somebody, you know. I don't know where I was going with that. That just made me think of that. I'm out of questions. Dang it. I answered those too dang quick. Astronomy questions. Man, I do need to get out. I haven't hiked a bunch either lately. At all. Again, balance in the force. But if this week it's supposed to be nice. It's been raining the last few weeks. I also need to get out. I need to call a place. I hate calling places, particularly car places, because a lot of mechanics can be right bamboozlers. And when I don't know what something costs or what's involved in something, I always feel at risk of being taken advantage of. And I'm sure that happens to everybody, but instead of actually just attacking that fear, I just give up and drive my old car around without a muffler. But yeah, I found some places, like 3 of them, that I just gotta call and ask and figure things out. And I'm also like, I'm worried about the wee little details. I'm like, okay, when I get there and drop off the Corolla, how do I get home? Oh man, I gotta call like a Lyft to get home. I'm not just gonna wait there for them to... How long does an exhaust take? I don't know. I have no idea about any of these things. So I will refrain from getting any... I'm fine. Actually, that hurt a little, but I didn't take any damage. Okay, beloved! Okay, we're drowning. We're fine. Good thing that wasn't lava. Lava. Wolfie thinks so, too. Good gravy. Good googly moogly. So much for those treats I recently got for Wolfie here. Have a seat right there. Indeed. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching, and everybody new for tuning in if you found this channel via some other YouTube recommendation or reference or top 10 list or whatever. And I hope you stick around, because there's certainly a lot more content to come. I tell you what. Was that? Oh, I thought that was cobblestone. I'm like, where am I? It's not. Workbench. Firelandserbust.com, sorry, is where you can learn more about the series, as well as donate to a direct relief charity. Of course, I don't press F3 to find out how far I've come until we raise our charity milestone goals. Might be modifying that a bit because this season has taken a little bit of extra time. But with all these new viewers, if you do have a few bucks hanging around, loose change perhaps, and you want to give to a good cause, give to direct relief on behalf of Farlands or Bust, that'd be much appreciated. And maybe it won't be something we have to worry about not reaching our goal in order to press F3 or have a Flobathon live stream marathon situation. Who knows? Only Farlanders can tell. I can't, though. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Still squeezing that lemon.